Hey guys, and welcome to a Runescape quest walkthrough/guide. I'm going to show you how to complete Fairy Tale Part 3, Orks Rift. It is part of the Fairy Tale quest series. And now to the requirements. You will need level 59 magic, level 54 farming, level 51 thieving, level 37 summoning, and level 36 crafting. You will also need to have completed Fairy Tale Part 2, Cure a Queen, Fairy Tale Part 1, Growing Pains, Jungle Potion, Druidic Ritual, Lost City, Nature Spirit, Priest in Peril, The Restless Ghost, and Wolf Whistle. You also need certain items. You need a bucket of milk, Dramen or a Lunar Staff, Secateurs, a hammer, and Nuff's certificate. It is recommended that you have level 37 prayer for protection from magic, 1 to 3 prayer potions, potions to improve combat abilities, good armor, dragon equipment or better, good weapon, food, monkfish or better. You will have to defeat 8 orc warriors level 79, General Grumblot, General Shredflesh, and General Breguth level 85, and the Fairy Godfather level 84. Equip a Dramen Staff or Lunar Staff as well as have Snuff's certificate in your inventory. Once you appear in scenarios, click on the main fairy ring below you. The scroll bar on the right should pop up, and you will have to scroll down to the bottom and click on the Fairy Resistance HQ node. Once in the Fairy Resistance HQ, speak to the Fairy Queen to start the quest. Circle red on the map. If you have just finished completing Fairy Tale Part 2, Cure a Queen, you will have to wait around 30 minutes in order to begin this quest. If that didn't work, then log out and log in again, and then it should work. Talk to the Tooth Fairy and she will ask you to turn on the projector to watch a briefing about fairy tooth magic. Warning: a non-flickering version of the briefings is available, but you are only given the option to choose the type of briefings once. When asked, make sure to choose non-flickering briefings if you suffer from epilepsy, other vision problems, or are at risk of seizures. After the briefing, select the last option in the prompt that pops up, unless you have further questions to ask the Tooth Fairy. Talk to the Tooth Fairy again and she will ask you to watch yet another briefing about the Fairy Godfather's plans. After the second briefing, the Tooth Fairy will ask you to find a wand for her, but first a tooth extractor is needed. Well, if you don't have a hammer and a pair of secateurs in your inventory, then head northwest into another room in the Resistance HQ that houses secateurs and hammers. Circle red on the map. Use the hammer and the secateurs to make a tooth extractor. A sacred clay hammer also works, but magic secateurs do not. Exit to Scenarios. Before going to the Tooth Fairy's house, you may want to pick up a bucket for later use. The spawn is next to the windmill in Scenarios. After picking up the bucket, head east past the wheat field to fill the bucket with milk using the dairy cow. You can also buy a bucket of milk in the Grand Exchange. Head to the Tooth Fairy's house, located northwest of the bank. Use the tooth extractor on the door to pick the lock. Level 51 thieving is required. Talk to Gnarly. You will need at least 37 summoning points remaining to do this. If you do not, you will not be able to understand him and he will bite you for a small amount of damage. There is a small obelisk southeast of the house if you need to recharge. You'll have to compliment him and his teeth. I've written something on the screen, just say the following. He will then ask for some milk. If you brought a bucket of milk, give it to Gnarly. Otherwise, take a bucket to the dairy cow east of the wheat field. He will ask you to close your eyes, then tell you to pick him up and take him to the Tooth Fairy. Agree to and return to the Tooth Fairy. Use the Scenarios Fairy Ring to get back to the Resistance headquarters. With the new spell that Fairy Verywise cast on you, all you need to do is use the coordinates AJS. Be sure to click the entry at the bottom of the list, or you will end up on the Penguin Island near Miscellanea. Talk to the Tooth Fairy and watch another briefing in which you discover that fairy tooth hunters made a tooth from each general rod. This will also explain how you will have to kill orks, retrieve their teeth, and replant them. After watching the briefing, step onto the yellow flowers next to the board and use the wave E mode. Make sure you have the tooth extractor in the inventory before proceeding. Your tooth will now be pulled and replaced by a magic tooth so that you can access more fairy rings. The scene of you having your teeth pulled will be censored for the squeamish. After a humorous conversation, you will be given a fairy dossier with important information on the generals and the fairy godfather. Return to Scenaris through the fairy ring. Brex is located near the windmill located east of the bank, silhouette on the map. Talking to her will reveal that another orc named Kachunk has taken her tooth. Speak with any other orc to find that you need to speak with Fairy Fixit to locate Kachunk. Head to Fairy Fixit, who is located near the fairy ring in Scenaris. Fairy Fixit will refer you to a remote island where Kachunk was sent to and give you the coordinates DIP. Kachunk will tell you that he has hidden the tooth in his pocket. You will need to pickpocket him to steal it, receiving Brex's tooth. Note: if the Fairy Resistance HQ was the last location you traveled to using the fairy rings, the coordinates given to you by Fairy Fixit will likely take you back to the HQ. If this is the case, travel to any alternative fairy ring before attempting to travel to Kachunk. Grumlot can be found at the Enchanted Valley looking for food there. Go there using the fairy ring code BKQ. Talk to Grumlot, but he will not tell you much. A few steps away, talk to the Wood Dryad or a Centaur. You'll be told that they want Grumlot out of there. Talk to Grumlot again to find out that he is looking for a mango. Talk to the Wood Dryad and ask where you can find a mango. She tells you about the mango tree at Abertol, using the fairy ring code CLR. She'll also enchant you so you can access the ring. Go to Abertol, CLR, and pick a mango from the tree, which is located right next to the fairy ring. While you are here, you can unblock the log that leads to the rest of Abertol. Return to the Enchanted Valley, BKQ, and give the mango to Grumlot. After eating the mango, Grumlot's tooth will become stuck in the mango and he will throw it away. Pick up the mango with tooth to the south. It will not show up as a red dot on your minimap, but is directly south of Grumlot. Pick up the mango, then use the tooth extractor on the mango to retrieve Grumlot's tooth. Shredflesh can be found in a cave to the west of Gudenath. For now, use the fairy ring code ALP. Talk to Shredflesh there and ask if you could help. Ask him the first 3 questions. Then ask, can I help with something? After that, ask the first 3 questions of the second series of questions. Then say that you're a dentist. A mood bar should pop up. Use the correct dialogue option that ease him and convince him to pull his teeth. As soon as this bar is filled, the orc will allow you to pull his teeth. Use the tooth extractor on Shredflesh. The screen is again censored for the squeamish. You will obtain Shredflesh's tooth. Optionally, use your pickaxe on the pile of rock behind him to gain access to the main map. Your tool belt pickaxe will work. Return to the Fairy Resistance HQ and talk to the Tooth Fairy, who will explain the rest of the plan to you and tell you to turn on the projector for yet another briefing. She tells you to go to the Orks Rift using the fairy rings with the codes BIR, DIP, CLR and ALP. She'll also give you her fairy wand to heal the statues there. Go Go to the Orks Rift and look through the fairy tree to view a cutscene. Speak to the Tooth Fairy after the cutscene, who explains that only the Orc ivory statues can disable the Godfather's shield, and that you will have to defeat the generals and about 8 Orcs first. You can now squeeze through the fairy tree and dispatch the fairy mafia once and for all. The generals are level 85, the Orcs are level 114, and the fairy Godfather is level 84. As soon as you enter the arena, you will be attacked by the Godfather, the Orcs, and his minions. You will be unable to take on the Godfather directly, but you will be able to kill his Orcs. To defeat the Godfather, you must start growing the teeth in the farming patches and protect them from General Shredflesh while avoiding the Godfather's spells. Once the Ivory Orcs have grown, they will be able to assist you in defeating the Orcs and their minions. Once all of the Orcs are defeated, the Godfather's shield will become vulnerable to the Orcs. You must command them to follow you and to attack him when they are next to him. Each Orc will take down one of his shields, and while doing this, they will constantly be attacked by the Godfather, so you will need to use the fairy wand to heal them. Requires level 59 magic. Once his shields are down, the Godfather will finally become vulnerable to damage, and the fight will end as soon as his life points are depleted to 0. After defeating the Godfather, talk to him to start a cutscene. The rift sucks in the Godfather, and the fairies attempt to stitch up the rift. The rift explodes, the generals emerge, and the Tooth Fairy teleports you back to the headquarters. Talk to the Fairy Queen. She rewards you and teleports you to Martin the Master Gardener in Drenall village. Talk to him to finish the quest. After completing the quest, you'll be awarded 2 quest points, 11,000 experience in farming, thieving and magic, and 1,000 experience in summoning and crafting. You'll also receive a magic watering can, free access to the Scenaris market, the ability to use the fairy rings and get into Scenaris without a Draymond or Luna staff, the ability to fetch teeth to get a tooth creature by speaking to the Tooth Fairy after the quest, the ability to have gardeners keep your farming patches weed free, access to a new battle area in Orks Rift, which contains Cursed Ivory Bricks, Cursed Ivory Grumlet, and Cursed Ivory Shredflesh. They all have 82 combat and have high gem and blue charm drop rates. You'll also get access to Mole Harmless through Kachunk's Island, Fairy Ring code DIP, and 2 treasure hunter keys with 2 hearts of ice. Thank you for watching, and I hope I see you next time in another RuneScape quest video. Bye!